Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome. We are so blessed to be able to be together, to have this wonderful congregant, Michael Allen Harrison, who is so gifted and is here sharing his soul and his music with us. So thank you, Michael. And so he's going to lead us into that feeling of Shabbatiness.
Is that the technical term?
I think that is the technical.
I say that in the Talmud.
They do. We're going to sing together Hine Matov, Psalm 133. It is found on page 10 of your prayer books. Hine Matov Manayim, Sheberachim Gam Yachad. 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 Okay, you've heard it now 3 or 4 times, so let's all sing it together this last time. Hine Matov Manayim, Sheberachim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Manayim, Sheberachim Gam Yachad.
How good and how pleasant it is when we can come together and dwell together in peace, pray together in peace, and welcome each other in peace. We welcome you, Shabbat Shalom. It is such a pleasure to be inside almost anywhere at this point, right? But mostly to be together as community, which is so meaningful. And we're welcoming as well those who are watching our service on our live webcast, on Facebook Live, or however else you're finding us. We're very pleased that you're with us. For those I haven't had a chance to meet, I'm Rabbi Kahana.
Cantor Ida Ray Kahana.
And we introduced Michael Allen Harrison. And we want to make sure that everyone here is welcomed, part of the community. Please turn to someone around you, wish them a Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to our service. This Shabbat, we have an opportunity to welcome a young person who is taking on her responsibilities as a bat mitzvah. So as we turn to page 2, I'd like to invite Lila Wendroff and her family to please come forward to bring the lights of Shabbat into our community. Page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner Shabbat. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, so everybody stay here, and we'll have Lila come over here, and please, everyone else who is able, please rise for Kiddush.
We're on page 5.
Page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat pochon ve'ahava uvratzon inhilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishin Ki hu yom tehila lemikre kodesh zeher litziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat koshecha ve'ahava uvratzon in Chaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. L'chaim. Don't worry, it's not Mana Shabbat. Beautiful.
Thank you. Go back to your seats. Please be seated. We're going to continue on page 20 with L'chadodi likrat kala, come, let us meet the bride of Shabbat.
L'chadodi likrat kala Pene Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala Pene Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Yishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shemo tiferet v'litila Lecha dodi likrat kala Pene Shabbat nekabela Lecha dodi likrat kala Pene Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha Ki hi mekol habracha Merosh mikedem nesucha Sof maseh b'machshava tefila Lecha dodi likrat kala Pene Shabbat nekabela Lecha dodi likrat kala Pene Shabbat nekabela Verse 5 Hitorri, hitorri Ki varech uri Uri, uri, shidaveri Kevod Adonai alayich nida Lecha dodi
לקראת קלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, הנה שבת נקבלה.
For the last verse 9, we invite you all to rise as we symbolically welcome the bride. We turn towards the doors to usher her in. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, lecha dodi, לקראת קלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, הנה שבת נקבלה.
Page 27 on the bottom of the page. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There's no place on earth without the presence.
Baruch Adonai Amvorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Adonai Amvorach Leolam Vaed.
Praise Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praised be Adonai, to whom praise is due, now and forever. Page 31. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over?
Baruch atah Adonai, Hamarif Aravim.
Page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod Malchuto. As we take a seat, we are going to continue on page 36, chanting together. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lebavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzadecha Hayom alevavecha, vishinantam levanecha, v'dibartam בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Michamocha, page 40.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. לא תהילות עושה פלא, לא תהילות אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מלכותך ובניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים. זה לי אנו ואמרו, זה לי אנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פר אדוני את יעקב וגולו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גא ישראל.
Praised are you, Adonai, for redeeming the people Israel. Page 43. Let's read together at the top of the page. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will.
Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom, עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of the people Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem.
Page 44, Vishamru.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael, Vishamru b'nei Yisrael, et ha-Shabbat la'asot, et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם, לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל, ושמרו בני ישראל, את השבת לעשות, את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, לדורותם ברית עולם.
People of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and was refreshed. Page 46, we rise for tefillah.
Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagdol Hagibor Ha'anora, Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, Umevii Gula Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayeh kol atah le'oshia. Mori atah, mechaker chayim b'chesed, mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim. Tzolech nafli, v'rofeh cholim, u'matir asurim, u'mekayem emunato l'shenei achar, michamocha bal geburot, u'ridon melach, melech le'mit u'mekayem, u'masmiach Yeshua. Dineman natal ha'chayot ha'kol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, kadoshim b'kol yom yalalu chasana. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
You are holy, and your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Please be seated. Page 53. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. O God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see that wherever we gaze, that the bush burns unconsumed. And we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, when we did not know it.
Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, ulecha na'eh lehodot.
We give thanks to you, O God. You are our Creator and worthy of praise and of thanksgiving. It's on Shabbat that we give God a break. We don't ask for anything, maybe peace. We always ask for that, but nothing that is self-serving. And it's in that spirit of recognizing all the blessings and the gift that we have, that we sit in a place of gratitude. And we say, Va'al kulam, for all of these things, we give you thanks and praise.
אדוני אלוהינו בעמך ישראל ותפילתם באהבה תקבל, ותהי לרצון תמיד עבודת ישראל עמך. Find favor, Adonai our God, with your people Israel, and accept our prayer in love. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable. O God, who is near to all who call, turn lovingly to your servants, pour out your spirit upon us. Let our eyes behold your loving return to Zion. Baruch atah Adonai hamachazir shechinato leTzion modim anach leulach. Let's read together on page 59. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty,
for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks.
For all these things, O Sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. Page 61.
Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Baruch atah Adonai, hamavarech et amo Yisrael, Shalom. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace.
Take a moment of quiet prayer away from the words on the page and allow ourselves to find the words on our heart, to find the true prayer that is within each of us, and to allow ourselves these quiet moments of peace.
Say shalom b'romav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Say shalom b'romav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Say shalom b'romav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום.
The one who makes peace in the high heavens, make peace for us, for all the people Israel, and for all of the world. And we say,
Amen.
we add to our prayers a prayer for those in our community who are ill. We want to extend the prayers of all of us here to anyone who is in need. If there is someone in your life who you feel could use a prayer of healing for body, for soul, for spirit and mind, you'd like to share their name with us, please do so now.
The words for this setting of Misha Beirach by Craig Taubman are not in your prayer book, but we've been hearing it and playing it. Kind of started during COVID. It's become kind of our COVID Misha Beirach, and so I think the melody may be familiar to many of you, and if so, please join me.
Misha Beirach Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah, Yivarech, v'Yirapeh et hacholim. Misha Beirach Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah, v'Yivarech, v'Yirapeh et hacholim. Elna refana la, Elna refana la, Elna refana la, Elna refana la. Misha Beirach Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah, v'Yivarech, v'Yirapeh et hacholim.
May God grant healing to all those who are in need. And we say, Amen. This morning, Cantor and I officiated the funeral for a beloved member of our congregation who died very suddenly early this week. David Bramer was someone that many of us knew, and knew as a person who was full of life and hope and activity. I was struck by something that his daughter Caitlin said, talked about it a bit this morning, but I've been thinking more and more about it. In describing her father, who was someone always having projects, was always building something. He was engineering, developing, inventing, creating, fixing, always trying to make something better. And in all of that building and creating and fixing, he would end his projects, but he would never finish them. There was always something else that could be done to make it just a little bit better. So there were lots of projects lying around that everyone else thought had been ended, but they were not finished. I've been thinking a lot about this concept of ending, but not finishing. That uncertainty that we sometimes have. Well, we've reached a particular milestone. We've reached a moment, sometimes a moment that we've been working hard for. And yet, somehow we feel like it's not quite finished. There's still more perfecting. There's still more we need to investigate, take apart, and put it back together. Maybe a little bit better than it was before. We end, but we often don't finish. The Torah is much like that. We come this week to the end of the book of Numbers, the Parasha Matot Ma'aseh, a double portion that moves us, because a double portion moves us very quickly through to the end of the book of Numbers. The book of Numbers begins with a counting, the Israelites being counted one by one, enumeration of who is there, who is a part of this community. And the book continues with much of the laws of what it means to create a community. How are we going to, we people who have been wandering in the desert for 40 years, who are going to be approaching the promised land, what kind of a society are we going to build when we get there? And we have all through the sense of these laws and how they apply. And then we come to the very end of this book of the Torah, and we've moved from the counting to this question of who really counts. There is a story well known of the daughters of Zelophehad. No one could pronounce his name, but they know who it is. This person who had several daughters. The law didn't allow them to inherit. It was a complicated story. And Moses finds a compromise that allows the inheritance to go forward, for the land to stay within the community, to stay within the tribe, and a way of making the women who, in essence, the law did not count. They weren't considered fully equal to the males in their families. Laws of inheritance didn't apply to them. And finding a way to move from counting the people to making sure that everyone counted, making sure that the women were fully included in the laws. And yet, while the Torah ends, this book of Numbers ends, we know that this question of equality doesn't end and is not finished. We are still in this process. There's still far too many in our world who do not count, who are not counted the same as others, women among them. And we are still in this process of finishing. For thousands of years, we've been finishing. And we are still not there, not nearly there. For so many people who feel that they are not counted as a part of the community. The Torah ends this book of Numbers We say these words when we finish a book of Torah, chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek, let us be strong, let us strengthen one another, a statement about community. We are coming to the end of something and we need to strengthen each other, and then we immediately move to the next book. We don't finish the book. We might end, but Torah never finishes. We move directly to the next book in Deuteronomy, and there is more for us to do. And the minute we complete the Torah on Simchat Torah, what do? We end it, but we don't finish. We immediately roll back to the very beginning. The Torah may look like a scroll, but it's really a circle. And human beings are constantly on this circle, moving and trying with each iteration to make ourselves a little bit better, to make our world a little bit better, to make our community a little bit better, to make sure that everyone is included, that everyone counts. We end something, but we don't finish it. I'm sure you are thinking, as I talk about this notion of ending and not finishing, your mind probably goes to immediately where my mind went, and that is, when are we going to be finished with COVID already? We find these markers of ending, we find these metrics, but we know that these diseases are not finished with us, even if we may be finished with them. We are still in process, still learning. But more important than how we battle a disease is not putting a finishing touch on what we've learned from this process. Throughout these 2 years, over and over again, we have noticed what we've tried not to pay attention to for years and years beforehand. How much inequality has been a part of this pandemic. How we've seen people who are left behind, the people who are not counted, who are not fully included. We've tried, we've recognized them, we've paid attention to those inequities, but we are not finished. So much has been exposed. So much has been revealed. So much has been put immediately before us. And we may feel like we're done, we're finished with COVID, let's move on to something else, let's go back to the way things were. But we know the truth. There is no going back. We have much we still need to do. We have to continue completing the task, working on the inequities that we've found, working on ways to right the wrongs, working to embrace and not reject science, working to embrace communal responsibility, that recognition that our actions have profound effect on other people. There are things that we thought might be our own individual decision, and it doesn't matter what I do. It's just me. But this pandemic has reminded us deeply that we are all interconnected. What we do as individuals has profound effect on the people around us. What we do and what we don't do, it matters. We have a communal responsibility. And we are still learning about that. And we know that there are many who reject that concept. But our whole world society, not just our family and our community and our neighbors and our city, but all of the world, we are all linked. Our actions affect what happens to others. Our actions affect our community. Our inactions affect our community. In Pirkei Avot, the ethics of our ancestors, there is this saying that always reaches me, especially when I think of Torah. And Bag Omer, Pirkei Avot says, Hafuchba v'afuchba, b'chol haba. Ben Badbag says, turn it over and turn it over, because everything is in it. Turn the Torah over, continue to read it, continue to move from one to another, finish your immediate task, but don't think that you are really finished. You might be ending, but you are not finished. The work continues. And we roll all the way back to the beginning, and we do it again. And hopefully we make it better the next time around. And hopefully we learn from our mistakes, and hopefully we find the parts that are broken that we might have overlooked and fix them for the next go-round. Hopefully we pay attention to who has been left out and make sure that they count, that they are included. May we continue our tasks. May we never finish. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. We turn back in our prayer books to page 282 as we rise for Aleinu.
And on that day God shall be one. Bayom Hahu, and God's name shall be one. And God's name shall be one.
Thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and of death. We honor the memories of those in our community who have recently died: Larry Black, David Bramer, Alice Meyer, Linda Waters, Marty Weinstein. And we honor the memories of those whose Yortzites, the anniversary of their passing, occurs during this time: Edith G. Barty, Sadie R. Berg, David Berger, Leo M. Bergman, Marlene Barkowski, Nick I. Bronston, Mortimer Wilkes Brenner, Hy Cantor, Richard Mitchell Carson, Rose Judith Caesar, Vida Gertrude Caesar, Philip Chucker, Jennifer Cohen, Scott Colton, Daniel Davis, Susan Finn Dryden, Minnie Einstein, Whit Russell Elwood, Melvin Farberman, Jacob Feingold, Morris Friedrich, Lena Friedman, Clara S. Fry, Herman J. Friedman, Emma C. Friendly, Tilly Gardner, Henrietta S. Garfinkel, Charles I. Gelber, Celia Geller, Richard Helfond, Lester Harrop, Sarah Leah Hornstein, Gertrude Joseph, Josephine Stern Kalischer, Goodwin Daniel Key, Ruth Kravitz, William B. Layton, Beatrice Barty Lubliner, Ray Matichek, N. Kalman, Cal Margulies, Leo Mitchell, Jean Kent Noodleman, Rabbi Stephen Passamanik, Cynthia Peterman, Esther Peters, Francis X. Peters, Bernard Pomerantz, Gerald Poplack, Beatrice Radson, Dina Rosen, May Rosen, Maurice J. Rosenfeld, Edith Rubin, Stacy Sadis, Roxanne Schloss, Albert G. Senders, Rose Lubliner Shank, Daniel Simon, Celia Levitt Sondheim, Nettie Sonis, Esther Soren, Cecilia K. Steinbeck, Ben Steinberg, Mary Sullivan, Sophie Tatt, Ben D. Tarlow, Ruben Tenenbaum, Ronald Wheel, William Zaks, Hiroto Chikoji. If anyone else is honoring a yahrzeit, or if I mispronounced a name and you'd like to share a name out loud with us, please do so now. The memories of all of them are with us. Our griefs and our sympathies are mingled. We turn to page 294 and rise. Together we say the words of Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash me rabbah, ve'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'vyomechon, u'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevorach leolam u'lamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, shemei d'kudusha breichu, v'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, v'yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all the people of Israel, and to all of the world. And we say, Amen. Please be seated. Mazel tov to you, Lila. We're looking forward to your celebration tomorrow afternoon, and to all of your family. We hope that there are many wonderful things to celebrate together. Tomorrow morning, we will have an online Torah study at 9:30 and
At 9.
9 o'clock, excuse me, 10:30. I knew there was a 30 in there somewhere. 10:30 online Shabbat service led by Cantor Kahana. And next week, a week from tomorrow, we have a Tat Shabbat at 9 o'clock in the morning on the plaza. So if there's a very small person in your life who would like to bring a family in and have them celebrate together, it's a short but very fun service, lots of singing and dancing and celebrating. So it's open to anyone.
And that night, next Saturday evening at 7, Cantor Green and I will lead a Healing Havdalah, which is a meditative, reflective service with music. It's a beautiful chance to just sit in community with each other. If you're bringing some kind of grief or something that you're praying for in your life, it's a really wonderful time to do that. And it happens to be that next Saturday night starts Tisha B'Av, which is the lowest, kind of saddest time of the Jewish year. So it really is just this space to be able to be reflective and lift each other by being together. So we hope you'll join us next Saturday night at 7.
Unusually, for the things we've been doing lately, there is not an online component to that service.
Right.
So we invite you to be in person and to have that time of reflection. And on August 19th, Friday night, is our next Shabbat on the Plaza. And we invite you to be a part of that if you haven't been to one. It is a lovely outdoor, right outside these doors, service with a lot of music, and not going to be as hot as it is now. We've scheduled that. So heat domes, everyone is invited except for the heat dome, not allowed. We will conclude our service as we turn to page 3. Oh, excuse me, before we conclude, immediately after the service, we will have a brief oneg, some challah and juice in the back. So please come together and we'll have a chance to wish you a Shabbat Shalom in person.
I want to take an opportunity also to just thank our ushers. We're always grateful. I think there were 2 or 3 tonight. So whoever was out there greeting and welcoming, being an ambassador, you're doing the important work. And thank you again to Michael. It's always wonderful to be with you. Why don't we rise and let's say a motzi, so that when we do leave after the final song, you don't have to wait for me. You can just dig in. All right. So, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. And amen. And now we're going to turn to page 323 for Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ruachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Kadosh Baruch Hu. Bachoni l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malchei amlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu.
God of our ancestors and God of our descendants, we thank you for the beauty of this Shabbat. We thank you for the tasks that you have put before us. May we continue to engage ourselves and continue to move forward to create a world that is filled with holiness, blessings, and peace. Adonai oz namo yitain, Adonai varechet emo v'shalom. Oh God, give strength to our people. Oh God, bless us all with peace. Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.